I hope this is going well. Right, I'm just going to start this video anyway. I'm going to do a live on Instagram as well, and this live is going to be about frustration and how to reduce frustration if that ever appears in your life. Because I just want to double check that the sound is working on that. But basically, I have just been trying to start a live on YouTube, and I have been getting frustrated with it. And I want to give you a live example of how I can not get frustrated with it, essentially, if that makes sense. So yeah, bear with me, and I just want to double check if I do this. I think it does. Does this work? And that's all I want to do, is really explain how I allow myself to not get frustrated, even when I can feel the frustration coming to me. So I'm just going to go live on Instagram as well. And it never works first time. Hello. I'm doing this live because I want to do this on frustration, because I just got to the point where I literally was getting so frustrated with trying to go live on YouTube as well as here. And I want to give a live example to anyone that is watching about how you can not get frustrated and how you can reduce yourself from getting frustrated. And hello, how's it going? And I'm not going to say that there won't be things that won't frustrate us, because there will. And if you've just joined, I was just saying about how I'm trying to go live on YouTube and Instagram at the same time, and the YouTube live just was not working. I've tried to go live 5 times. I've had to delete the videos. Then it's saying there's a video still live right now, and it was really starting to get me all frustrated and just a bit annoyed. And I just want to double check that I don't even know if the sound's working on YouTube. Hopefully it is, because otherwise it's just all of that's a waste of time. But I can show you how you can reduce the frustration. I was going to do it about suffering, but I thought this is a great example that I can use for people and help you to not get as frustrated when it starts to appear in your life. So I am very good, thank you. I'm very good. How are you? What's going on, Harry? How you doing, my man? But yeah, I don't really have a script for this. I'm just sort of going to go off of things that just have frustrated me and how I've began to stop that frustrating me, essentially. And if you've got any questions on frustration specifically, drop it in the comments, or drop it in the comments on YouTube, and I will do my best to help you out if you feel like you're getting frustrated. So frustration is an emotional reaction to something that isn't working as we plan it to work. Now, realistically, the thing that we expect is down to our expectations. That's what it really is. Now, the thing we expect to happen, if it doesn't go as planned, we start to get frustrated with it. Whereas even years ago, it wasn't even possible. For example, going live on YouTube wasn't even possible, I believe, until the last few years. I'm not sure exactly when. But the fact that it was frustrating me, and I'm using all this different equipment, so it's a lot of stuff to do. But the fact it was frustrating me was tough. And the person that's joined on YouTube, can you just let me know that that you can hear me, because I've been having audio issues yesterday and today. But it's really releasing expectations, and that is how we reduce our frustration. If you expect things to work perfectly every time and they never work perfectly, you're going to get frustrated. How's it going? How are you? And it's allowing yourself to release all these expectations. You can hear me. Can you just jump over to my YouTube? Just type in Max Hindle on YouTube. Can you just jump over there and just double check that you can hear me on there as well? Because I'm not sure if you definitely can. I would like to know if you can, because otherwise I can just turn this off if this doesn't work, and I can figure it out another day. But it was the fact that there was so much, and it was literally, I could feel myself. You joined your YouTube, it has audio as well. Oh, thank God for that. Thank God for that. But I was literally sitting here, I could feel myself getting hot with frustration, and it was really, I'm currently frustrated right now. I'm a dancer in training. I can't see myself improving. I feel like there's no point in carrying on. Oh my God, Louisa, I completely understand what you mean. Completely understand that. So so I'll give the example. I don't know if you were here when I was talking about everyone that was just listening. I was getting so frustrated with setting this up, because I was trying to get my audio to work. I've literally been sitting here and I could feel myself getting hot with frustration. It was literally like anger running through your veins, just like, just work. I just want you to work. And it was getting quite annoying. But what that did to me was made me stop and realize, and if you go back to yesterday's video, the audio didn't work on YouTube, but it does work on Instagram. I was talking about the spiral up method. Now, when we get that negative emotional feeling, we can begin to like spiral down and feel negative and feel frustrated and get more angry and get pissed off, get all this kind of stuff. But you're saying different things. Is it a little bit of a lag? I'm not sure if it's a little bit of a lag, or yeah, is it a little bit of a lag? I'm not sure. But essentially, when things start to get the best of us, the emotions set in. Now, when we're in an emotional state, that is the worst time to try and reason with ourselves. We need to get ourselves out of the emotional state. And this is where we come to terms with how do we do that. And this is down to things like breathing. This is down to things. And this is what I did with myself. I could literally feel myself and I was literally sitting here going, come on, just work. And I was getting frustrated. And when I say to people, I say, it's okay if you react. It's okay if you get annoyed. It's okay if you get angry. It's okay if you get sad. It is. But the difference is, how long do you choose to stay sad for? And I literally said to myself, and I always say this to myself, I guarantee you it will be the stupidest thing that is not allowing it to work. Do you want to know exactly what it was? I accidentally the other day pressed function mute, which muted the whole thing. It just muted my keyboard, my YouTube. For some reason, it just muted it and it just did not work. Now, at the time, I was just sitting there going, why can't it work? Come on. Can feel myself getting angry, getting frustrated. And what that allowed me to do was sit back and say, how can I stop this frustration? What can I do? And it was down to the breathing, because when you change your physiology, you begin to change how you feel. Now, when I was getting frustrated, I'm tensing up. I'm getting like this. Come on, why isn't this working? And I start to get myself in that feeling state, which then makes me feel more frustrated, which then kicks it into a loop of frustration, of feeling annoyed, of feeling pissed off, and all that kind of stuff. So the first step of what you need to do is really stop yourself and catch yourself in the act and remind yourself it's okay to get frustrated, but remind yourself also that we can kick ourselves out of it by just reminding ourselves. Like, I was just like, I guarantee it would be the silliest thing. And it always tends to be. For example, when you lose your keys, you get frustrated. Where are they? They always end up in the stupidest place. And you're like, I swear I checked there. I swear I checked there. I remember I did that with my AirPods. I lost them for like 4 days. Turns out they were under my bed the whole time, even though I checked my bed before. Okay, someone said, my mum has this problem where she frustrates she gets frustrated on the little things. I feel like I can't do anything since she goes through major depression. She just can't get over it. That's the thing. It's an issue when it's someone else, because we can't physically change that. And I can relate totally with I've seen people get frustrated. So for example, when I used to work with my dad, he used to get so frustrated and angry, he would throw stuff at me. He threw blocks of wood at me. He would go nuts. And one of my friends that actually joined, he used to work with us, and he got so frustrated one day he didn't let my friend have lunch. And I was like, you can't do that. I was like, well, he's got to eat. It's like, just because you're annoyed doesn't mean, and they take it out on other people. Now, we can't necessarily do anything. We can only guide them to get help, and we can only guide them to certain videos. So for example, if you know someone who gets frustrated easily, send them this video. But I can literally feel the blood that was running through my body from frustration. And it was an emotional reaction to something not going how I expected it to go. I expected to log onto YouTube, click one button, plug my audio in, work perfectly. That's what I expected. But it didn't work that way, which was annoying. So naturally, my emotional body, my emotional mind reacted. The logical mind said, it's just a YouTube live. Like, imagine you didn't even think about doing it. You wouldn't even be doing it right now. But the emotional body said, but I want to do it. It turns into a kid. I want to do this. Why isn't it working? And when you're in the emotional mind, it's very hard to reason. It's like reasoning with a kid that's crying, saying, oh, like, you try and do anything, and it's not the place to do it. It's not a place to reason, because they're not in the right frame of mind. So it's about actually taking that physical step back, interrupting the pattern, whether that is a clap, whether that is literally slapping yourself in the face, whatever. If you slap yourself in the face, don't blame me if it hurts. Just don't slap yourself in the face. Let's be logical. But doing things that we can really interrupt the pattern to remove us from the way we're going and change the direction that we choose to go. And then we can start to make those shifts, if that makes sense. You have a question. I'm always exhausted no matter what. What can I do to be more energetic? what can you do to be more energetic? There's certain things. Now, first thing I would always go to is nutrition. That would be the first thing. I would always go to nutrition. What are you eating? Are you eating healthy foods? Are you eating processed foods? Are you eating a lot of sugar? Are you drinking enough water? That's sort of your basics. Then you need to go to how much you're sleeping. Again, they're sort of the basics. Then even working out, because when you exercise, you actually begin to raise your energy. I'm not going to talk too much on this live because this is more about frustration. But if you do have any issues, is it Razva? Please do send me a message and I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. I did write on YouTube, but not see if I can see it. I did say that you were saying it's delayed on Insta. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool if it's delayed. That's not an issue. What's going on, Nick? How's it going, my man? Hello. Yeah, to anyone that is just joining now, I'm basically just going on a rant about how frustration really affects us, because I just got massively frustrated trying to set up this live, and I was going to do the live about suffering. So this, like, I've not really got a plan for it. I just sort of jumped on and I was just like, I just need to speak about this to hopefully help someone. I was mainly going to be doing it about the 4 steps to end suffering. I will be doing that live potentially tomorrow, so make sure you tune in. But it was making me feel so tight. And if you notice what relaxation feels like, it is, whereas tension, frustration, anger, it feels horrible. I'm not sure if I should be live on your Insta or live on your YouTube. You choose. Head over to YouTube, be on Insta, be on both. I don't mind, as long as it doesn't really matter. You're watching on YouTube and Insta. See, you're a real one. You suffer really bad with frustration. That's the thing. I was just saying, Beth, what it is, it's an emotional reaction to something that happens when we expect it to go a certain way and it doesn't go the way that we planned it to go. So if we expect to pour a glass of water and nothing go wrong, if this glass breaks while pouring it, we're going to get frustrated, or not necessarily, not all the time. The more you allow yourself to be put in these situations, and the more you allow yourself to, and you're both as well, you guys are the real ones. I appreciate you. The more we allow ourselves to be put in these frustrating situations, the more we will allow ourselves to reduce the frustration, because we know how to deal with it. So, for example, I've got loads of examples. One was, I was painting some offices with my sister a few years ago. Didn't have any money, and we just finished painting. Not a speck of like paint anywhere. I don't know if anyone saw it on my TikTok before. Once we finished, 10 liters of white paint went all over the black carpet. Immediate reaction was frustration, anger, annoyance. But then it was actually, we spoke about it, and I was like, should we get mad at each other? Because all we're going to do is be sitting here cleaning up mad at each other, or we can laugh it off. And whenever something goes wrong, whenever I get frustrated, my personal way of dealing with it is making videos. So like the video I'm doing right now. When I feel frustrated, I make a video, because it allows me to hopefully help someone. I see like there's a purpose in my frustration to say, okay, I got frustrated. Hopefully I can help someone who's being frustrated, or who feels frustrated right now, or goes through a lot of frustration in their life. She was just annoying me. Yeah, I totally get what you mean. And sometimes it's about having the conversations versus and actually vocalizing it, versus saying things like, well, just stop being annoying. It's actually vocalizing, saying, I get frustrated quite easily. Can you please bear with me? And be open and honest with it, because if we're open and honest, then we can start to reduce the amount we actually get frustrated, if that makes sense. You're getting frustrated with an essay at the moment. It's due today and you have 700 more words to go. Okay, I can understand that. And the first thing I would do is say, like, are you actively doing something? Like, for example, you're on this live watching this. Now, I would love you to stay, but would it make more sense for you to go and finish off your essay so that you get the 700 words done, and then you won't feel the frustration? Because taking the logical action is relevant, but sometimes it's easier said than done. Sometimes you may be a bit bored of it, but sometimes you're multitasking. Multitasking is not a real thing. Come on, everybody. But Yeah, it's allowing ourselves to meet our expectations. If we don't meet our expectations, then we get frustrated. That's all frustration really is. And that's what I really want people to understand. So how can we actually reduce it? It's snapping ourselves out of it by literally having a physical clap, click, slap, whatever it is, whistle, whatever it is. I swear to God, then I just blame my hormones. And that's the thing. We can choose to blame something, or we can choose to take account for it. And like I said, I literally help people reduce suffering, reduce frustration, reduce anger, reduce fear, reduce stress, reduce anxiety, reduce all this stuff, and I do it, and it very easily. But you should be working on the essay. You should. But the biggest thing is, realistically, it's down to me. It's down to my reactions. Like, I do react in life. I'm not perfect. I don't want anyone to think I'm perfect. I don't want anyone to think that I don't get annoyed or frustrated, because I do. Is it frozen for anyone else on Insta? Oh no. Are you just trying to frustrate me? But it's really allowing yourselves. Sometimes I don't know why I'm so angry. It's an emotional reaction. That's all it is. And if you look at the levels of consciousness, anger is actually higher than something like guilt. So feeling angry is actually a higher vibrational frequency, and it's allowing yourself to move eventually to the frequency of acceptance. And when you move to the acceptance of, I do get angry sometimes, I do get sad sometimes, I do get annoyed sometimes, then you will allow yourself to progress forward and move on. But at the moment in time, if you're getting angry, it's like I said, it's getting yourself out of that moment. And the only way you can do this is by creating some sort of anchor that clicks, that snaps you out of it. Literally, if it is a snap, if it is a clap, something that can literally startle you, so that when you are going into these situations, you can get yourself out with a physical way of getting yourself. There is a physical way of getting yourself out, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's what I really wanted to dive into, is just to help people understand that getting frustrated is perfectly fine. Staying frustrated is your choice, because scientifically speaking, I'm not sure the exact time. I believe it's 5 seconds. I could be slightly wrong. It's between 3 and 5 seconds. Staying in an emotion for longer than 3 to 5 seconds, you are actually faking it. Now, I'm not saying that you are faking being angry, or you are faking being sad, or you are faking being happy. But once those 3 to 5 seconds are up, then it's your choice to stay in that emotion. Now, if you've been programmed to constantly stay in those negative emotions, then naturally, when these emotions come up, you're not going to feel great. You're going to feel a lot of pain. You're going to feel the emotion constantly, because it's familiar. It's something you've always done. Just like how in the morning we clean our teeth, because we are programmed to clean our teeth in the morning. I don't really know too much about dental hygiene, but it's just a habit that I wake up and I clean my teeth. That is it. That's it. It's just a habit. So if we've got a habit of getting angry and staying angry, getting frustrated and staying frustrated, you can't get out of your head when I'm there. That's why, Beth, that's why we need the physical, what can I call it? It's completely gone from my mind. See, I could get frustrated at that. Your sister manages to make you angry for days, but it's cool because we make up suddenly talking about food. How's it going, Tori? But yeah, the main thing that you need to do is have some sort of pattern interrupt. That's what it's called. So that you interrupt the natural pattern of getting angry, of getting annoyed, of being fearful, of being stressed, of being frustrated. When I was in a state of depression and anxiety. And I get why. I completely get why, because everything seems like more of a challenge. It seems more of a task. But we need, Beth, that moment of time where we interrupt the pattern to say, I will no longer feel frustrated. And the only way we learn this is by practicing it. And literally saying to ourselves, and I did this the other day, I said to myself, I want to get myself into a I can't remember the emotional state I was looking for, it was like a stressful or annoyed state of being, to see if I can maintain the state of gratitude. And as soon as I said that, I literally walked into a state of frustration. like something happened and it made me frustrated. Then I reminded myself it's okay, but I can step back and I can still feel grateful. Now this is a bit of a chore. This does happen eventually, but the main thing that you need is some sort of pattern interrupt to get yourself and snap yourself literally out of the old emotional state and have a new emotional state so that you can change it. And I did a video on the Spiral Up method, a live video on here yesterday. So make sure you go and watch that if you want any more details on how to actually get there. But the pattern interrupt is essential. Someone once told me it's not about me. Really, really pronounced to break the negative feeling. Someone once told me to say, got you. Someone once told you to say that it's not about you. And that's the thing. When someone's angry at you, it's not you. The issue is within them. So that's one of the biggest things that switched in my mind. For example, I used to get really annoyed and have road rage when I would drive and someone would cut me up. I'd start swearing. I'd start like middle finger, all this shouting, screaming, swearing. One time I saw someone get out of their van, punch someone's window and get back in their van. And I literally looked at them and I thought, I actually feel sorry for them. They're going to have such a bad day. They must have rolled out of bed the wrong way. They must have run out of, or their bread for their toast was moldy in the morning. They went to go and drink their orange juice and it was off. They got in the car didn't start, so they had to put it on, or the van didn't start, he had to put it on charge. All these kind of things. And then you start to live from a place of empathy rather than a place of reacting to how they're feeling and meeting them where they are with their emotion. You're actually looking at it from a third person perspective and saying it's okay that they feel like that, but I actually feel sorry for them. So I love that, Emma. That's a brilliant point. Your problem is my situation not helping me. What do you mean by that? Now I make sure I make my bed, then bath and skincare. I feel so much better now. That's the thing, Tori. It's all about routine. If we give ourselves some sort of routine to work with, then we're going to get better results and we're going to feel better within us. Because like you said, making your bed, realistically, it's not a big task. But making your bed feels like a good task when it's something you've completed in the morning. So start with making the bed. Start with doing your skincare routine, having a bath, having a shower, whatever it is that you do. He was attacked on WhatsApp last night, like very abusive towards me. And my anxiety was horrendous. And I completely understand that, because what that's doing is it's sending you back to the old emotions, because it's something that you are actively trying to get away from. So one of the things there I would recommend is to really block whoever it was that was really attacking you on WhatsApp, because naturally people that... This chair is very loud. It needs oiling. Naturally, we're going to go back to a familiar state because we don't know how to approach those situations. So putting ourselves into those situations, sort of like things like immersion therapy, are very powerful, because we can go into those situations that used to cause us stress, anxiety, fear, pain, all the above, and reduce how we feel. It's a long story, but basically I have to stay with my friend since leaving my ex. Okay, I get that. And one of the things with that, what I would recommend is, the situation in itself is not the thing that's causing you the stress or the frustration. It's the perception of the situation. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have a right to feel frustrated, because you do. The things that are going on are causing you frustration. The things that are going on are causing you pain. So it makes a lot of sense. But one thing can happen to two separate people. How they perceive it are completely different. For example, so two people break their arm. They both break their arm. One of them feels like annoyed that they've broken their arm. The other one feels grateful that they've broken their arm. Now, what you're looking at is, well, why is one person grateful for breaking their arm? Because it's a bad thing. It's a painful thing that happened. Well, realistically speaking... Oh, we've got another question there. 1 second. Realistically speaking, the broken arm could get you out of doing something you didn't want to do. Let's say it was jury duty. You didn't want to go and do jury duty. If you've broken your arm and you've broken your leg or whatever it is, and you physically can't go, then you see the broken arm as a positive. Whereas when you break your arm and then you can't go and do the favorite thing that you love to go and do, go swimming, and you can't do it, then it's seen as a negative. So the broken arm itself is not the bad thing. The bad thing is the thing that has a negative effect on us is the perception on what happened, if that makes sense. And I wasn't planning on staying here for long, but I lost my job and couldn't afford it. And I completely understand that that is a tough situation, because there's, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now, there's things that are going on that are really causing well, like you said, you can't afford it. So what's the next thing? And it's really putting everyone in a state of survival. So, and I feel guilty, but still feel frustrated. So that's the thing, Beth. My biggest recommendation is to say, what are you doing on a daily basis that can help you move away from guilt and frustration? Also, a broken arm is better than losing an arm. There you go. There you go, Tori. That is a key. That is perfect. And that's what I call the could be worse game. You've broken your arm, but you've still got your arm. You've like, you lose an eye, but you've still got another eye. If that makes, obviously that's a bad thing, but you've still got something else. Or you lose your eye, but you still got your hearing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's finding a positive in the negative, but not being toxically positive, if that makes sense. I have now the voice messages, and message was so cruel. With all that stuff, Tori, what I would recommend is, if you know that what you're doing isn't wrong and you know that you're a good person deep down, block those people that are causing you stress, harm, and making you feel bad, because they're the ones, like I said, they're projecting how they are, who they are, how they feel, not who you are as a person. Like I said, if someone comes up to me and punches me in the face, it's not, and it's a complete random stranger, it's not anything I did wrong. Necessarily, it could be. Who knows? I might have a very punchable face, but it's not necessarily something I did wrong. It's how they're feeling at that moment in time. And if we don't have the tools to calm them down, then naturally we may just get a punch in the face. So it's really dependent on that. I keep getting frustrated because there are so many voices in my head and I can't get over them. And that's something that's maybe at a deeper level of understanding what is going on in our minds. Is this something that we're having a conversation with ourselves and we feel in these negative frame of minds, these deep dark states, and how do we get over them? One of the biggest things, if you feel like if it's something that is really bad, then I would recommend speak to a psychiatrist and stuff like that. I can't fix the feelings unless I'm alone, if that makes sense. What do you mean by that? When you say alone, do you mean physically alone, or like literally like 10 minutes to yourself, or do you mean physically alone with no one ever around? Like, what do you actually mean by that? You feel like a burden. Okay, so your emotion is you feel like a burden. Has the person you're with told you you're a burden? Thank you, Max. I know I never did anything wrong. Worst thing was, and that's the thing. Sometimes we do just begin to lose friends. We lose hope in friends and all that kind of stuff. And like you said, if you know that you're not doing the wrong thing, then silence yourself from those type of people. Physically alone. Okay, so if you're physically alone, when you go to bed, whether you've got those 10 minutes, 15 minutes before bed, or 10 minutes, 15 minutes after you wake up, can you sit there and start to create who it is that you want to be in those times of frustration and stress? Love that, Tori. I love that. I love that. And I definitely want to hopefully create some sort of like community where everyone, like you guys, can really connect with each other and chat and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to be able to do that. I don't know where I would do that, but I'm definitely thinking of doing that very soon. But yeah, if you feel frustrated, just remind yourself this: frustration really is, how's it going, Charlotte? Frustration really is not meeting the expectations that we set for ourselves. If we don't get something that we expect to happen, or we don't do something I mean, I need to live alone. I'm losing the will to live. I get that. I completely get where you're coming from. But yeah, if we expect something to happen and it doesn't meet our expectations, then we will naturally want to feel the anger come up, the frustration, the sadness come up. And like I said, everyone reacts to frustration in different ways. Some people cry. When I was younger, all I used to do was cry if I got frustrated. My mum would tell you, if I was trying to do homework and I couldn't understand it, I'd just start crying. That would be it. I'd just start crying. Now, when I get frustrated, the first thing I will do is sit there and say, I naturally just say this to myself. It's just a habit that I now do. I guarantee you it will be the silliest little thing, which it was. It was the fact I didn't press one button on my keyboard to allow the microphone to work. When I lost my AirPods, I was like, I guarantee they'll be in the silliest place. I checked under my bed 3 or 4 times, found them under my bed the next day. And for me, that's what really works. I just remind myself, I guarantee you it will be the silliest thing. I guarantee you it will be the funniest thing. And then if failing that, I just make a video about it. And that's how I get through my frustrations. So you tend to look back at the frustrations and laugh at them long term. Those things that happened in the past, you will just laugh at them, because what happened in your past, it really wasn't a big deal when you look at it. Like, I will look back at this tomorrow and say, I can't believe I actually nearly got so frustrated at trying to do a live. And I will laugh at that. So can we look from a future perspective and laugh back at where we are right now at this current moment when we're beginning to get frustrated? But like I said, to remove the frustration, we need to snap out of it, and we need some pattern interrupt. You've lost your glasses and then you found them in the fridge. But that's what I'm saying. Like, saying to yourself, I bet they're in the stupidest place. We begin to just diffuse the boiling kettle at that moment. Like I said, I was literally getting full of like, my blood was pumping with frustration. And then I bet you it'll be the stupidest thing. Looked at the keyboard and went, oh, what if I try this? Worked perfectly. And that solved my issue. So then I would have been annoyed at myself for getting frustrated at something so simple. So that's why I'm really want to be able to help people with frustration. But I hope this video has helped some people. And if you have any questions for me, drop me a message. You know where I am. Make sure you follow me on YouTube as well. Type in Max Hindle, just Max Hindle, you'll find me. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Type in @Maximilian, or just type in Max Hindle, or type in Max Hindle on Google. You'll find me all over the place. I'm on Google now. I'm famous. I'm making it. But yeah, anyone have any questions, drop me a message. And that's the thing, Beth. That shows who she is as a person, not who you are. Thanks for listening, guys. I will speak soon, and I will do more lives on YouTube, because I won't get frustrated with trying to set them up again. But yeah, that really shows who